Bruh, that's the fourth. You got 4 jabs in before
you know I'm already struggling because I'm scared tonight.
My dog got four body blows in before we even got going. Before we even came on camera. What's wrong with you, Sal? No. Chris Paul does not make the Suns worse. I'm glad we're doing this topic.
Me too.
Because you made this argument all week long.
So clear and concise
all week
as
long,
well.
You were telling me, in all honesty, man, I can't wait for Chris Paul to get back. Because once Chris Paul gets back, they're not going to get into the paint. Chris Paul, you shoot them elbow jumpers, but that's actually what we like as Clipper fans. We want you at the elbow. We don't want you in the paint. Close quote.
Are you wet snitching or dry snitching? Because, I mean, damn, it's coming out. Receipts. You ain't the homie.
Here's the thing, though, Sel.
What?
You can't add a top 5 point guard currently in his playoff prime and expect the team to get worse.
I hear you.
And that is the deductive reasoning that many have who assume that somehow Chris Paul is going to make the Suns worse. I get it. Campaign gave you 29-9 and no turnovers last game. That's phenomenal. But the issue with Chris Paul, when he arrives, he makes everybody better.
Yeah.
See, thus far, Campaign has made the Suns better by his play, but Chris Paul actually not only makes himself better and the Suns better, he makes everybody better. But also, I think this whole thought that the Suns get worse by Chris Paul showing back up, it is the most glaring issue we have with recency bias. It's the most glaring issue we have with out of sight, out of mind. The last time we saw Chris Paul, he gave you 37 points to only 2 turnovers in a closeout game. That's the last time we saw CP3. So I understand Campaign has been playing well. He's been playing very well. But the Suns with Chris Paul will get a whole lot better.
Oh, man. That's all? I guess you want me to go dive on the deep end because you know it's choppy waters whenever you say a team is going to play worse with their arguably best player.
Yes, facts.
I don't think he's better than Devin Booker, but in terms of what his impact has been, he's their most valuable player.
Yes, sir.
This was a non-playoff team before Chris Paul. Chris Paul shows up as the court general. Chris Paul, the great, all of a sudden they're over that hump. And boy, are they over that hump. Let me just start off by saying this is not a hot take. I like Chris Paul. I actually know Chris Paul. I respect Chris Paul. Chris Paul is top 20 all-time, 30. He going to get in that world? We'll see. But his arrival is not going to make them worse as individuals. It was the fact that his departure made them have to look inside themselves and be better. Catch the difference? Here's the difference. It's an addition by subtraction kind of formula, but it's the psychology. You and I both have played before. We both have been backups as well. And when the starter goes down, the headlines go one way. Oh, we in trouble. But you know what we're thinking as backups. It's time. Cameron Payne knew it was time. Devin Booker in the hybrid role knew it was time. Let's talk about just some stats so I don't sound so hot-takey. The efficiency of this team went up without Chris Paul. To the point of game 1, they had their highest field goal percentage of the postseason. Coincidence? I think not. Let's talk about Campaign without Chris Paul. Has a career high in points. You think that's a coincidence? I think not. Let me hit you with a full screen about CP3 and me. With CP3 and without CP3. We're going to take our time on this one so I don't sound hot-taking. I ain't that dude. Kwame Brown, leave me alone. Here's the thing. With CP3, they have lost 2 games. Look, they're 8-2, so let's not slight the team. They're 80% win percentage. But without CP3, them suckers don't lose at all. 2-game sample size, I respect that. Points per game, you would expect them to go down. There's an uptick. Interesting. Field goal percentage, you expect that to go down because Chris Paul is money from the elbow. That goes up. Let's talk about turnovers per game. That's where Chris Paul really shines. Court general, making sure the ball's in the right place and taking care of the ball. Why are they better without Chris Paul? I'm telling you, dog, I've been in this position before. When Bruce Smith went down, that's how Marcellus Wiley became something. Got that money. So this is a situation where I saw all these other players activate themselves in the departure of Chris Paul. We'll see how it plays when he comes back, but I think it's going to be worse.
Here's the issue with your logic, Sel. First off, you spoke to something that's true. I'm just going to exacerbate it.
Okay.
You said a 2-game sample size. Giannis is 2 for 2 in his last 2 free throws. Giannis is not a 100% free throw shooter. We have to look beyond a sample size of 2
That is a moment,
to
not a 48-minute game, 2 times over.
2 times is still just 2 times.
Okay.
Furthermore, let's personalize this for you. Y'all won 2 games against the Utah Jazz without Kawhi Leonard. Without Kawhi Leonard, Terrence Mann looked inside himself, and he saw 39 points. But then he looked again, and he only saw 9 points the next game and 8 points a game after that.
Oh, you saying that?
So you can keep looking inside yourself, but eventually what you see is going to change. You're going to revert back to exactly who you are. You would never utter that the Clippers are a better team without Kawhi Leonard, albeit they closed out the Jazz without Kawhi Leonard, albeit they also won 2 games without Kawhi Leonard, albeit they had, as I see it, their playoff high in points without Kawhi Leonard. But neither you nor I would make the mistake of thinking that the Clippers are a better team without Kawhi Leonard. Yes, Terrence Mann looked and saw inside himself and liked what he saw along with you, but that does not make them the better team. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, they play better when Chris Paul is on the court. The team collectively plays better when Chris Paul is on the court.
Who you say?
I said Devin Booker. I said DeAndre Ayton.
Now, you think I only got one full screen?
With all that being
said, it gets
worse. They still ball. Devin Booker still gave you 40 game 1 and he gave you 20 game 2.
Don't clean it up
But we're not going to act like we didn't see what Devin Booker was doing
we
with Chris Paul present.
Yes.
Chris Paul may make campaign worse, but you can make one individual worse if you make the other 4 better.
Facts.
Especially if that individual is your backup. It really comes down to this, Sel. Chris Paul right now, what do you have? He had a game with 15 assists and no turnovers. Top 3 of his career.
Yeah, sure.
He had a game with 37 points. Most points for a player of his age or older, or second most points for a player of his age or older.
Give a damn how old he is.
What matters is this.
What?
Chris Paul is playing the best postseason basketball of his top 5 point guard history life.
Well,
and you telling me
tell you about the past?
That he better make them worse?
Hey, we doing a show too well together because, boy, everything you throw on me on Monday, it's coming back at your head on Thursday. I remember that point you said, well, you're going to reward him because he was bad before. Chris Paul's never been bad in the playoffs.
Never.
He just always gets hurt.
True.
And, I hate to see those playoff woes return, the dominoes fall. Because once a Clipper, always a Clipper. And thank you, Chris Paul, for returning from Corona, because now you're going to do the most Clipper thing you can do. Help my Clippers. That's what he's going to do. Let's talk about this. The season series against the Phoenix Suns with Chris Paul. Who won that? Clippers, 2-1. Clippers, 1-2, lost 1. Let's talk about right now. Series in the postseason against the same Phoenix team, but without Chris Paul. 0-2, my Clippers. Okay, you keep saying this is a logic argument and my logic is flawed.
Yes, sir.
These numbers ain't flawed, and I'm going to keep hitting you with these numbers. Let's talk about the fact that Rondo and Patrick Beverley were not designed at their age, you want to bring up age, at this moment in time to deal with Devin Booker and Cam Payne and his 26-year young self. We weren't designed for that. Chris Paul? One, we have the experience, the familiarity with him, but 2, he ain't turning that corner like that. You don't hear them tires go, you just think, he's smooth when he turned the corner. He ain't turning the corner like Cam Payne. But this is where you dug your ditch. And I hate to take you to Inglewood Park Cemetery, but that's where my family is buried. And I'm going to take one of my own brothers and bury him too. Because you're talking about Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton don't get better without CP3. I think I have a full screen. And in this full screen, look at these rising suns. Damn it, I hate to do this to people, but this is how it's done. Devin Booker, what you doing without CP3 getting better? Oh, DeAndre Ayton, I already knew you were good, but you got better without CP3? Now, Cam Payne, get out. We already know you're going to get better, but damn, you double up? Oh, show Acho's face right now because there's a little crow on your mustache right there, a little crow right there. Hey, man, I've been here before. On the surface, it looks like, oh, my God, what are we going to do about this void, this dip? That divot is getting filled, brother, somehow, some way, by a collection of people giving more effort.
I respect it. I'm just now waking up at 12:09 into the show. He got me. He grazed me on the chin. He got me. I went to the corner.
No.
They put some ice on my head.
Mayweather's your butt.
Nah, they put
Logan Paul, I'm going to hold you up.
They put some ice on my head real quick.
I'm going to hold you up, Acho. We got to make this money.
Real quick with the Vaseline. And they said, hey, wash your right, wash his right, watch his right, watch his right. Okay, ding, 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 ding. We going to glove up. Let me come back in. Look, Sel.
What?
When you are not at work, I have to speak more.
Ooh.
I have to read all the scripts. The A block, which is for y'all that don't know TV talk, the top of the show after our first commercial break. I bring us in after commercial.
Facts.
I have to do all the work. Just because I do more does not mean the show got better.
Ooh.
I told you, they in my corner. They was in my corner. They got me right. Just because I have to do more doesn't mean the show's better. Yeah. When you come back, I don't talk as much. Okay. I definitely don't go to break nearly as much.
You don't talk as much?
I don't have to do nearly as much when you back.
Okay.
But the show actually gets better. So although I'm now doing less, the show gets better because you make me better and hopefully vice versa.
You know that.
So albeit when you gone, I got to do more. Acho got to speak more. Acho got to go to break more. We can bring in a full screen of Slick Rick Bucher, Steven Jackson, Bucky Brooks. They will speak more as well when you're not here, but the show's not better. So let's not mistake doing more, scoring more points with being better collectively. Because, of course, Devin Booker going to score more. Got to pick up the slack. Ayton going to score more. Got to pick up the slack. Campaign as a backup going to score more. Got to pick up the slack. But let's not mistake doing more for collectively being better.
Okay. Woo, you had to get that one off your chest, huh?
Had to.
You know what's so
rebound,
funny?
boy.
In games when you're down, and you've been there before, we're not boxers, but we certainly can use that as example. But when you're down, you got to punch your way. You got to play your way back to just level. Like, all right, I caught up. We were down 20. We got back. And then you always watch that announcer, somebody like Marv Albert or something, say, they used up all their gas just to get back. And you use up all your gas to get back. Now I'm going to go like this. Yeah, shut your head down, boy. Let me give you one, though. Rope-a-dope a little bit. Tonight is a must-win for us. If we don't win tonight, it's wrap. I mean, nobody comes back from down 0-3. Let's be real about that. But here's another line for you. I'm sorry, Acho. Square up. Here we go. In outcome, the Phoenix Suns can't get better with Chris Paul.
Fair.
They're 2-0. So in outcome, America, they won't get better.
You're on that one.
The only way they can get better is in performance, and the only way to measure that is in point differential, I guess. Right now, they're 7-up on my Clippers in terms of the 2 games and the win spread. So that's what you guys are really seeking right now? A higher point differential? Beat them by 10 plus, 20 plus. Be careful, because that could be greed, trying to chase more points and don't necessarily serve the better outcome. Here's my last point. I know I'm supposed to go to tease. It felt like a tease. It ain't a tease. I got to keep going on this. It feels too hot-takey for me to be saying this, but it's facts. CP3 is that dude, and CP3 is a tremendous leader, but he also barks. Think about it. You ever walk into a room when you know you ain't got the stripes yet? That guy got the stripes. You defer. You show reverence. That's what these guys have been doing. Respect to Chris Paul. He's integrated perfectly with this team. But he doesn't know how much of these guys in the 50-50 situations always defer. When he's gone, when he's departed, those guys assert themselves. The numbers support it. Hopefully tonight, they go back to where they were.